All right, welcome in. I'm Disco Greg, and today we're here to talk about fantasy injury management for fantasy baseball. This is part one. How did we get here? If you've seen my other video, where I explain how I arrive at fantasy injury management, there should be a link in the comments. You can go check that out. But today we're here to talk about this. How did I get here? How did I arrive to this idea and concept and strategy based off? Right. So first things first is that let's change this to black. First things first. The more categories you have, more applicable this strategy is. Right. More categories, the more applicable. Because let's just take a look at this real quick. 5x5. I'm sure many of you know this. 5x5. We have runs, home runs, RBI, stolen base, and average. For pitching, it is wins, saves, ERA, whip, and Ks. Now, right off the bat, batters contribute to all five. Relief pitchers and starting pitchers only contribute really to four. You could say that long relief guys now contribute to wins, but normally you're going to take the closers, so we're not going to really count that. 5x5, right? And this strategy is also designed. It is designed around my experience with 12x12 categories. That was the first league I ever did, and I really enjoyed it. I honestly don't really like 5x5. I like doing this with more categories, more applicable. Right? So my 12x12 was, let's go blue. We had innings pitched, wins, losses, save, home run, walk, K, hold, ERA, whip, quality starts, and blown saves. On the batting side, we had runs, hits, doubles, triples, home runs, RBIs, stolen base, walk, strikeout, field percentage, average, and OPS. Okay. So I didn't play any other format for the first 2 years that I played fantasy baseball. Right? I played 12x12. Now, as we saw, this ratio here comes out to be, man, I gotta get my hands in order. Comes out to be 100%, 80%. Right? So right off the bat. This one, we'll say starting pitchers contribute. Let me get a different color, actually. Let's see here. Starting pitchers are going to be light green, relief pitchers dark green. Starting pitchers contribute to 1, 2, negatively 1, like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Because there was no limit to the starts you can make. There was only a transaction limit for the week. So you could just stream pitchers to try to win these categories. Sure, you might lose walk and home run and losses. That's 3, but you're like you're still +1 on that, right? Because it would be minus loss, home runs given up, walk, right? So you're still +1 on that. But you still have some negatives to balance that out. And same thing for relief pitchers, right? You have hold, save, hold and save, and then you got quality starts. Or blown saves, excuse me. So how much are they actually contributing to all of that? That's looking kind of tough. When you go over here to the other side, it's just like plus, 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 plus. Okay. So strikeouts is 1 minus. 1 minus. And then fielding percentage, we can get into draft strategy about that, but plus, plus, right? I mean, even if we wanted to say negative, right? That's still 10 out of 12 categories, like 85%. This one was 1, 2, 3, well, really 1 out of 12 categories when it comes down to it, right? So when I was doing my draft, right? This is going to come down to the 2018 season. Okay, 2018 season. I had finished 2016, 2017, 2018. Okay, so I had finished second. My first season, never playing before. 2017, I won. 2018. This is what went down, right? 2018. Now, this is about the time where pocket aces was a thing, right? Your first two picks, you take 2 aces, right? Because pitching was at such a premium. Give me just a moment. Take a drink here. Okay. So I'm drafting. I just won. We had started a keeper league, right? In 2018, non-keeper, keeper. In 2018, my keeper, we're actually gonna blow this up a little bit. We're gonna make this bigger. We're gonna go 2018. Okay. So in the first round, pick 7, I got to keep third baseman Nolan Arenado. Right? I was thinking to myself while I'm in the draft, came to my pick in the 4th round, and there was a name on the board who had just had a great season and fit the bill of like, hey, if I need it, he's probably the best bat on the board, and I do have 2 utility spots. So why don't we just take another third baseman, right? So in round 4, pick 34, I take third baseman Anthony Rendon. Okay. So now I have 2 third basemen, right? However, in my league, the roster construction was catcher, first base, second base, third base, shortstop, outfield, 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 util, util. Okay. So I had third base and third base, right? And a little while later, around 12, it just happened to turn out that he was absolutely the best player on the board. And it was pick 114. I drafted third baseman Justin Turner. Now, playing through this season, 2018 season, this is where this all started coming together, right? Nolan Arenado finished the season with 590 at bats. Right, let me get 500. AB OPS 590 with an OPS of 935. Beast, right? Pretty much 600 at bat season. But you can see he got nicked up in there a little bit because he was an everyday player and he didn't make it over 600 at bats, right? Got nicked up a little bit in there. Next was Anthony Rendon, and this was amongst his MVP stretches. And Anthony Rendon had 529 bats with an OPS of 909. Okay. As you can see, he barely made the 500 at bat threshold. So he was banged up a little bit, as it always was. And just currently. So I didn't get him for a full season either. Out of Justin Turner. Justin Turner had 365 ABs with an OPS of 924. Right? 924. So here we are. And, I forgot to mention, we had IL spots. IL. Right? And through that season, it just so happened that whenever Turner got hurt, they were both playing. Whenever Rendon got hurt, they were both playing. And if Arenado got hurt, one of them was at least playing. And I don't know if you noticed, but all three of these players, it's like Nolan Arenado is 1, right? Rendon is 1A, right? And Justin Turner is B, basically. Right? They're all similar versions of the same batter, the same archetype is the phrase I like to use. Archetype. So I had just like 3 very similar batters, and I never lost the production of my first round hitter. Right? When Arenado got hurt, if I didn't have another third baseman, I would have to go to the waiver wire just for third baseman. But instead, I pull. Let's do this. Instead, if I lose Arenado, I can just pull Rendon out of util. And now to fill that position, I can do it from free agency. Right? Which expands your player pool massively. Instead of having to find a third baseman, you can pull any player and put them in your utility spot. So this is basically what ended up happening. Instead of, I mentioned pocket aces earlier. Instead of pocket aces, I got pocket 3 of a kind, right? And I can sustain that with 2 utility spots. So recognize this. I recognize this through the season, right? So I started combining it with other thoughts I had, but I never really wanted to take the leap to like dive in head first. You know, I'm generally somebody who just dips their toes quite a bit. So I've recently, in support of this, looked up the injury data, right? We're going to talk injury data and ADP data. I have another video where I discuss the rate of injury of bats and arms. If you want to check it out, it's protecting your $300 million investment with a stationary bike. And yeah, so here's how it basically shook out, right? Pitchers get hurt half the time, 50%. Injury, pitchers, 50%. Batters, hitters, whatever, is like 40, 35 to 40%, right? So I also, okay, well, I digress. So injury, right here off the bat. Okay, so now we have already taking less percentage, right? Already taking less percentage. They get hurt more often. Okay, lower percentage and hurt more often. So why would I ever draft a pitcher, right? We're moving along here. I also dug into rankings history, right? I was looking for ADP data. I was getting a little tough to find consistently through the years. So I used MLB.com's top 100 ranks, right? And this is from 2022 through 2026, right? So let's I want to leave that up there. 2022 to 2026. 2022, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We have hitters. Okay. And then we're going to do hitters. And we have pitchers. 22, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And we're going to do top 5, top 10, and top 20, right? Well, I guess I don't even need to go through all of this, because what it shook out to is, on average, get rid of this. On average, top 5, 10, and 20. Top 5, 10, and 20. Pitchers, arms, bats. How many returned from the previous season to the top 5, top 10, and top 20? And on average, arms returned 2 of the top 5, bats returned 2 of the top 5. Okay, top 5, it's about the same ratio. But here's where it starts getting interesting. Out of 10, only 4 of the top 10 from the previous year were in the following season, and 6 of the top 10 bats, right? And then to top it all off, out of 20, only 10 out of 20 arms on average return, and 13 out of 20 bats returned to the top 20. So here we are, right? Here we are. You got this guy over here, 80%, right? You got this guy over here, 50%, right? And you got this guy here. They repeatedly don't have the consistency that bats do. It's a trifecta. 1, 2, 3. Why would I draft pitchers? I got pocket 3 of a kind. I can sustain any injury to my best player, and they contribute to a massive amount more categories, even still here. So I don't understand. I don't understand why would we draft pitchers. they get hurt so much, right? They get hurt so much. I'm trying to manage my injuries. I'm going to take the players that get hurt less, who contribute more, and are more consistently producing results year over year. That's from 22 to 26, the most recent with all the major changes, right? So why would I draft pitching? I don't. I draft all bats, right? I don't draft pitching. I take it to an extreme, right? Take it to an extreme. So again, bad for pitching, bad for pitching, bad for pitching, good for hitting, good for hitting, good for hitting. Batters all the way. Batters all the way. So I'm gonna erase a bunch of this. Erase a bunch of this. Erase a bunch of this. Okay. So I draft all bats, right? And I went back through and looked at just the extreme I took it to in my drafts. Now, there's two leagues that I have been a part of consistently, and one's 12 by 12 and one's 7 by 7, right? That 12 by 12 one, and then there's another one 7 by 7. And we're going to start here at 2018 again, right? 2018. And then we're going to do 2019, 2020, 2021. 19, 20, 20, and 20, 21. And we're going to look at the distribution. Ooh, let me get this a little lower. Okay. We're going to look at the distribution of my hitters, of my hitters to pitchers drafted. So we're going to do pitchers drafted inside the top 10 in 10. And we're going to do pitchers drafted in the top 16. Pitcher 16, right? Okay. So in 2018, I had 3 out of 10, 3 out of 16. 2019, 2020, and 2021. Ooh, wait. Uh, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Oh, excuse me. It's out of top 11. I apologize. Oh, that's not very clever. Whatever. Top 11, 0. And out of this top 16, 3, 4, and 5. So as you can see, I'm drafting at least 11 batters in my top 16, and nearly 0 in my top 10 or 11. I try to fill out my entire batting lineup before I draft a pitcher. Right? This is what I tried to do. I tried to fill out my lineup as well as I could until I couldn't pass up on a value or a player that I really wanted. Right? So this is how I arrived at this, right? And in the next video, part 2, philosophy. This is how did I get here, right? Next one's the philosophy, some of the advantages and disadvantages. Not that I think there's many of the disadvantages when it comes to this, but we'll discuss some of the things and scenarios and things that I've encountered over the years. However, I would like to just, I almost forgot. There was the other league. I almost forgot the other league, which was 23 and 25. right? And we're doing top 10 here, basically 11, whatever. It was 2 and 0. And out of 16, 5 and 3. So as you can see, I just don't do that. Now, just to lend some credence, uh, I want to make sure that the resume that I have is sustainable and credible, you know? So in this league, or I shouldn't say in this league, but overall in Yahoo, my overall record currently is, let's do this. One moment. Trophies, and there's rating. Okay. So my overall record in Yahoo is 326, 190, and 31. Okay, that's a winning percentage of about 62%. Pretty solid, right? Then the 7x7 league, which I joined as a keeper league, and I took over the worst team. The team was so bad. The manager, I should say, of the former manager of the team, executed a trade the previous year, and it was the first trade to nearly get vetoed in league history, right? So I was taking over the worst team. My team was called Worst to First, and I went worst to first, and I won the first year, and I got second in the second year with a combined. What is it? We got 32, 7, and 3. 32, 7, and 3 with a first and second place finish. Right? Oh, the 12x12 league. I got second the first season, and then I won 4 times in a row. I won 4 times in a row. 12x12. 4-time champ in a row. 1 missed playoff. '22. That'll come into play in just a second. So trophies and head to head, 16 out of 25 teams managed. 16 trophies, teams managed. Right? So I'm finishing top 3, 66% of the time, getting my money back at least. Right? And my rating. Yahoo has a rating system from bronze all the way up to diamond. And the one before diamond is platinum, and I am at diamond is 900, and I'm at 894 platinum. However, I'd just like to note that in 2022, it had plummeted just in this 1 year. I had plummeted from platinum all the way down to gold. That's 645. Right? 21. I was 830. And I brought it all the way back up what a terrible arrow. All the way back up to 894. Yeah, I struggled in 2022. That's chat for another time, but that's pretty much it. How did I get here? Well, that's the basis of it, right? Basic ratios. I'm going to take the odds every time, having more categories, being very successful. That's whole Ken Goodle. We'll talk philosophy next time on part 2. Fantasy injury management, part 2. Okay.